Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So, earlier this morning, the ban list is finally out. I believe it came out like 3 a.m. our time in PST. Came out late at night in Japan. Yeah, the ban list is finally out, and in this video, I will just quickly go through like what the ban is gonna be and what I think the meta game is gonna look like going forward, and a lot of it is based on like the current data that we see. And then finally, I'll end on what I think this will mean to our beloved BY leader. Okay, yeah, these are just talking about the reasoning on why they want to make some bans and whatnot, and the ban will be effective August 30th. Okay, so here we are. So this is a new concept, banned paired cards. So what this means is if you have card A, you cannot have card B in your deck. So yes, they finally is doing something about the UP leader. I mean, we kind of see the writing on the wall. We know this is coming, but we just don't know are they either going to ban leader or any of these cards. What they end up doing is just somewhere in the middle, which is you just can't put the Kata and the Lin in the UP deck. So to me, what this means is they still they still want these cards to exist in the game. So for UP is they still want to have like this kind of leader effect going forward to give people like some room for creativity. You know, if they build like let's say the Dovi package or something else. But it definitely just take away like the survivability that they can do. Like without the kata, it's hard to like do the giants and all that. Well, I guess like without nine mom, you know, you're probably not gonna lose Dawn on your turn. But anyways, but what this means is they still want all these cards in the game. They still want like I will say like maybe they should just make the Kata and the Linden leader lock to Big Mom Pirates, but they didn't. So what this means is like they just want to have these kind of effects still in the game for purple, to kind of see how it goes. But I must say I'm quite a big fan of what they're doing because this is a new concept in the game. Well, it's not like brand new in TCG, but in recent years for this games, is like you can't have paired cards. They either just ban the card or they don't. So I'm quite a big fan of this to see how this is going forward. You know, I'm always down to try new things, and yeah, if it doesn't work, then they make more changes. But at least this will just be a refreshing format, really take away like the survivability of UP. Okay, so enough about UP. Well, I'm quite a fan of this happening because my gosh, this was an atrocious matchup. Okay, so the second ban card is the Nami leader. So I didn't really know why they banned this leader until I see the OP13 spoilers. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, they're actually making a new promo Nami leader that does the exact same thing, except you can only run cards in East Blue. So I think right now that card is only in Japanese, which I don't have the image pulled up. Quite frankly, I like that art a lot better. But yeah. So it's probably just they don't want people to play solitaire, which is what Nami is right now. If you stick with the East Blue, it's just gonna be like playing Zeph that mills, or play the Rush Usopp that mills. Like play these cards that it is an alternate win con, but it's not like you feel like you're playing a complete different game. So I can see why they want to do this. Just kind of like you want. I will say like this is definitely a fun effect to like include it in the game, but you just don't want it to like be too degenerate because otherwise like if the metagame is just filled with only Nami, it's not like the best format that we're in. So yeah, that's about the Nami ban. Okay, so talk about the unban. Okay, so everyone was talking about the Sakazuki leader might get unbanned, and well, here we are. It actually happened. So actually, this is kind of funny. So if you look at the Sakazuki leader, my gosh, it has a wait. Yeah, it has jumped up in price quite a bit overnight. As you can see, it was floating around like what, like 20-ish dollar to all of a sudden now selling for 60. You know, people are buying them out. So if hope you have your Sokka leader, and I see like some memes on on like Twitter, well, X, talking about how they used to use their Sakazuki leader as Don. Well, now all their Don just got unbanned, so that's cool. But but yeah, I mean, this leader obviously was really strong at his time. So yeah, you filter your hand. I mean, any sort of consistency filtering is obviously really good, and yeah, on attacking, give something -1 cost, which set you up for yeah, any sort of removal that cost matters. But I will talk more about like how I feel about this leader coming back in the meta later on in the video. But yeah, here's Sokka unbanned. And the Kabaji unbanned, yeah, this is just kind of a meme at this point. I think back then they just want this banned because it was too good in Nami. So, yeah, I mean, now that Nami is gone, sort of, because this is only Buggy Pirate, not East Blue, so you can't put this in the Nami deck, so they might as well just unban this card, see what happened. I mean, it's probably not going to change anything. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just kind of funny that this card is banned because when you think about banned cards, you might think about like some really splashy, like some main protagonist or main antagonist character, and then it's like this random Kabaji character that's like, I mean, he is in the story, but just not that important. That got unbanned. Sorry about for the Kabaji fan if you're out there, but yeah, I mean, here you are, he got unbanned, and that's it. So so yeah, what does this mean going forward? So immediate reaction is any deck that was gate kept by this UP deck is gonna be a lot better, ourself included, BYs, and I wouldn't say stuff are getting gate kept by Nami because it's not that prevalent in the meta, and yeah, they just want this effect out of the game. Well, not entirely, just not like so totally solitaire, that type of play style. And this being unbanned, this has some implication of because obviously people are gonna try this leader again, like the Sakazuki enthusiast, and this leader was really good into like the like removing bodies and especially to the smaller bodies. So this will definitely shake up like what are some of the deck that could be viable given this leader's presence. Again, BY included. So yeah, as you know, before BY is not so great into Sakazuki, but I will talk more about it. Okay, so now I want to talk about the pre-banlist meta game. So took this list right out of the Eggman website. Thank you again, Eggman, for providing us all these resources. But this is the pre-ban list matchup spread. So yeah, I mean, so for those of whom that haven't seen this kind of list before, just real quick, if you look at like in the row, like horizontally, meaning like let's say this Zoro, right? This Zoro is 50-50 into Zoro, and then this Zoro is losing into the Rayleigh, and is losing into UP by certain amount of percentages, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how you want to like read this chart because yeah, like otherwise all these percentages could be a little confusing. So okay, first of all, what's eye catching? I mean, if you took this row of UP, okay, I guess it's unfavorable, slightly losing to GP and losing to Koala, I guess. Slightly losing to Koala. It's losing pretty badly to Betty, but I mean, Betty is not representative in this leader matchup, but it's favored into everything else. So, yes, I can see why they want to do something about it, because this leader just too strong. Okay, so to quickly scan through it, you can see like what are like some of the leader matchup spread that's bad into UP. So notably, we have so something that's below 40%. We're looking at Bonnie, Enel, and Kuzan. So these three leader, I will say, definitely like the biggest beneficiary of this ban list because I mean, yeah, one of your worst matchup is out of the format, sort of. Well, it's not completely out, but it might as well be out because you lost Kata and Nine Mom, your main survivability tool. But yeah, so biggest winner. And as for biggest loser, which is not showing up here, I would say it's easily Bello Betty because yeah, I mean back then why do you play Bello Betty? Because it's really good into UP. So yeah, and not only that, Bello Betty also gained the two bad matchup of Zoro and Rayleigh. Sorry for being this is kind of like an eye exam, but since that's much I can zoom in on this picture, at least on this website. So yeah, Betty not so great. Probably not gonna be viable in the future at all. And the other big loser, I will say the GY Law because the it's also not showing up here for some reason, but the GY Law, green yellow law, the one that that you can like cheat the supernova out of life, because again that deck is really good into UP. But it's okay into everything else. It has some play, but not like the best. But yeah, I mean, it's again lost one of his best matchup. So there you are. So yeah, I would say those two are the biggest loser. Okay, so with this existing matchup spread in mind, now let's look at the projected my idea of what this future metagame is gonna look like. So just quickly give like the criteria that I wrote down. So S tier meaning projected best deck and format. So we're looking at so stuff like Bonnie, and why is Bonnie in here is because if you go back again to look at this, yeah, I mean it's pretty favor matchups throughout. I mean it's slightly losing to Shanks, slightly losing to Blackbeard. Actually, I think Blackbeard should be much more favored than Bonnie, but eh. Okay, anyways, this matchup spread says slightly losing, but it was losing pretty hard to UP. So now UP is gone. You look at this row, it looks pretty green to me. So yeah, that's how I projected this S tier is gonna be like. Best deck in format, Zoro. I don't know if there's any debate there. The Zoro leader effect, it just pretty ridiculous. Attack twice, along with like all the support it gets, like the Tashigi and the Mihawk and all that. So Zoro is gonna be really good. And Rayleigh, like, quite frankly, it looked kind of innocuous, not so quite unassuming on the leader effect when it first came out. But man, when you actually play it, this leader was so aggressive. Like it's you spam all body really fast, and yeah, you just do so much damage so fast and very consistent with all the events. So I will easily put these three at the S tier. Okay, so criteria two on what should be in the A tier. So I'm looking at the deck that'll have a good matchup into the S tier. So again, quickly giving an example. So like Enel being a great example. So 67% into Zoro and a whopping 80% into Rayleigh. I mean, I can see that you just play like the 4 cost Kuzan, tuck their body, starve them, and then drop the big bodies. So so yeah, that's the criteria I'm looking at is good into the S tier, and if they somehow not good into the S tier, kind of like this GP Luffy. GP Luffy, as you can see in the matchup spread, it's like losing to the Zoro and Rayleigh. Zoro and Rayleigh, I think, are just going to be the deck to beat. But yeah, losing to Zoro and Rayleigh, but it has a pretty decent matchup spread throughout the rest of the metagame. So that yeah, that's why I put in the A. And same thing with the rest that I kind of see like, you know, they either gonna have a great matchup in the S or they are okay into S but great into everything else. That's why they're here. So the B tier is a deck that are just poor into the S tier deck. So a good example is like Buggy. Buggy just get completely smited by Zoro. Any body you play gonna get arrested and get attacked, and yeah, you can't play your 10 cost Buggy, and your Mihawk and Crocodile doesn't do anything because they prevent removal. They don't prevent like getting arrested and smashed into. So yeah, Buggy being just a great example and why I put it here. And C tier is I think they're just not gonna be good going forward. Uh, yeah, I mean generally I wouldn't put a deck that can run Gum Gum Giant in this tier, but if you look at the matchup spread for Pluffy in particular, it's kind of abysmal into like the most of the good decks in the metagame. The UP was 50-50, so if you ignored this column, um, it's losing to Zoro, losing to Rayleigh, losing to Bonnie, and yeah, I mean those are just gonna be likely the best deck going forward. So yeah, even though it can run Giants, but it just get hard destroyed by aggro deck, which is what the early metagame likely gonna look like. So yeah, any deck that can run Gum Gum Giant, I don't like to put it here, but hey, I mean if they're not good, they're not good based on the data. So Betty, I already mentioned why I think is not going to be good because you lost a good matchup and you gained two bad matchup. And I just put the new leader here, the Koala, Sanji, and Rosinante. Yeah, I mean you don't have too much data with them just yet, but uh, Koala effect it's cool and all, but any 4 life leader right now, like all these 3 or 4 life leader, are just gonna get completely um they call it unga bunga. Quite frankly, I don't really know what that means, other than just get punched in the face, really fast and really hard. 4 life leader is just gonna struggle into that kind of playstyle. And my gosh, I've seen Zoro into Sanji matchup, and that matchup is just my god. Like I feel like Sanji just sitting here doing like all the cool event interactions, Zoro just like, all right, Tashigi, like 8-8, or like Mihawk 9-9, or like 12-12-12, like you're dead. So so yeah, I mean we'll see how these 4 life leader is gonna be, given how good especially my gosh this Zoro leader is. Okay, so lastly is the we'll see. I put it we'll see, but basically means I'm just need more data on these leader. I put these three because uh, if you look at Sakazuki, obviously like we don't know how it's gonna be. There are some initial reaction to it that I want to talk about, but otherwise like just the deck that are getting gate kept pretty hard by UP. So the Kobe being a good example. Like who cares if you can attack active if the active character is 9K, right? So yeah, like that was UP. So yeah, so that's why Kobe was kind of just not that great. Kobe could be really good into like any lower to the ground, mid range kind of deck, because yeah, I mean you can attack active. They don't get to keep their character. Um, Kalgara I put it here because Kalgara has, I mean, it got a lot of support. Like you got that new 5 cost Kalgara, you got like more 2Ks, you got, I mean, that new Kalgara is actually pretty really good. Like it's a Kalgara card, so you don't have to play that 6-8 no ability Kalgara to heal. And you also get the searcher that can find the Noland and Kalgaras. So I can see Kalgara being, maybe he can do something about something. We'll see. Okay, and finally, I want to talk about the Sakazuki, right? So this Sakazuki, it's so right now looking at it, how was it played before, right? It was playing like the Navy package. It was playing like early game, just play like brand new, and then later on you play like the Great Eruption into Ice Age into the Lucci, the 4 cost Lucci, or the Aramo Sorakuma, or whatever it's called. The art is like the Rayleigh clash with Kizaru. So the one that basically does a Lucci effect, except it's a 2 cost event that tuck 2 character, like bottom deck 2 character instead of killing. So I mean that's what made the deck really strong, and on top of that, it runs the 8 cost Moria as the end game. So if you look at all the cards I mentioned, right, what are the cards that are still available? Okay, Great Eruption is banned, Ice Age is banned, and the 8 cost Moria is banned. So yeah, Sakazuki definitely lost a lot of his best card that was running. I will say Sakazuki might be responsible, might have been slightly responsible to get these cards banned, but it is what it is. But Sakazuki, like, I mean, the leader itself, really, really consistent. Like, because you get to do the rummage effect. For those of you who play Magic, you know what that means. Discard and draw. You get to do that kind of effects, and you're in blue black. Like, you're excelling at controlling the board. Like you're either killing or bottom decking or something, right? So I think Sakazuki is going to be pretty good into like the mid range type of deck, and also like some I'm just throwing out some I don't know, let's say probably Shanks or Bonnie or Enel. Actually, Bonnie we'll see because right now green gets like all the protection cards, like the Tashigi as well as the 2 cost blocker, the Zoro's teacher, Shirayumu or something. Yeah, the new uncommon in OP 12. So I think Sakazuki, like if you look at it, good into mid range. I think it will have trouble removing cards that are like really high cost because I mean no Ice Age, and late game like you need to find more boss monster to close out the game. Although with the new Kuzan leader came out, like this Kuzan leader right here, excuse me, uh, you get a lot of new navy support. So yeah, you can probably run like that new ACOS Garp to cheat out like another navy, and then cheat out your body and develop your board that way. But as far as I know, like that those combination doesn't really like remove character. So so yeah, it'll give you a board presence. Like Sakazuki being able to like remove body is still really good, but it's also a 4 life leader. So being a 4 life leader is gonna be kind of rough. Like you just yeah, I mean you're 4 life. You're just gonna die faster to like Zoro and Rayleigh, the aggressive type of style. So to me, like Sakazuki is not gonna be good immediately, cause like I actually tried playing Sakazuki before when I got into the game, and my gosh, when you have your opening hand, it's you really need the deck was really good, as you know, but if you don't know what you're doing, one slight mistake can really cost you, like discarding the wrong card or do some incorrect sequence or look for the wrong card or something. So it definitely requires a ton of skill to pilot this deck well. In the nature is control deck. The control deck is generally gonna react to what the meta is. So Sakazuki, I would say out the gate is not gonna be good, but as the meta becomes more developed and established, the Sakazuki player will know like, oh, it's gonna be more aggro deck. Then I would put in more like that 2 cost event or something lower to the ground removal cards, or it's gonna be like I don't know, a bunch of Enel or like the yellow kid leader, or Shanks from some big bodies, then I would need to put in more, let's say, like Hina or Rebecca. Actually, I think you run for Rebecca regardless. But yeah, you need to run like more cost reduction, like Tempest Kick or something. So yeah, I think Sakazuki really depend on what the meta game is gonna look like for how this deck is gonna, how this deck is gonna perform. So okay, with all that talk out of the way, I want to talk about what this means for us, our beloved BY Luffy leader. Oh gosh, website's lagging. Okay, so fell into here. Okay, so what do I feel about BY Luffy going forward? Right, the so just quickly, just glance through it real quick. What does the matchup spread look like for BY Luffy? So I I from how my play experience is, the to Zoro I think is pretty even actually. People think it's losing, but I mean when I play I find them pretty 50-50. To Rayleigh I think is extremely favorable. Like Rocket Luffy just kills everything. Bonnie, yeah, of course, Bonnie, freaking Bonnie, just gonna be there and ruin our dream. But yeah, here you go. We're losing to Bonnie. And yes, it's also losing to Enel. Enel just play like their big body, and late game they just have too many big bodies to deal with, and they also have that 10 cause Enel that just my gosh, that card is insane. Uh, the GP matchup 50-50 I think. Uh, just depending on how much I can kill that Sanji pudding, as I mentioned. Zoro, I think is favorable again. Once again, the Rocket Luffy basically kills everything. I think if they go first and somehow get like Chopper into a bunch of bodies, then maybe I'll lose some cards. But I mean, I feel like Rocket Luffy being able to kill everything is just pretty good. The Kuzan, I think, uh, I actually think it's pretty easy. Like the deck, I feel like it just doesn't do anything. Quite frankly, like it draws a lot of cards, but it just doesn't feel like it has that late game punch. Like the only problem with playing against Kuzan is they do have that pudding, the 4 cost pudding, the freaking blue 4 cost pudding that make me lose my hand. So as long as I don't play like I don't play totally brain dead and just let them putting my 10 card hand. As long as I play around that, I'm pretty okay. Uh, Yellow Kid is sort of like a Nell. Just they're so tanky, and also like their body in the end are so big. The 7 cost Secret Law that heals, and the 8 cost the 8 cost Kid that trash a life. When they have a bunch of those on the board, it's pretty hard to deal with. Yeah, so I that's why I run more Shirahoshi now to deal with bodies like that. But yeah, I think it's easier than NL for sure, but it's definitely not winning. I think it's slightly losing. Okay, Teach. I mean, don't really talk about this one. Teach is hard. If your opponent is not know what they're doing, a somewhat competent Teach player is gonna be rough. So yeah, we pray for Teach's downfall. Okay. Shanks. So Shanks, first of all, why do I put it here is so going back to this matchup chart, Shanks was poor into UP, right? So okay, somehow this Shanks is not showing up like in horizontally in his own row, but it only shows him in the column. But in the column, you just kind of have to read the opposite way, which is if it's green is bad for Shanks, if it's red is good for Shanks. Kind of the opposite. So if you look at this, a lot of red meaning a lot of good matchup for Shanks. One of the big green matchup, which is pretty unfavored for Shanks, is this UP Luffy. So once again, this UP Luffy is out of the picture. So with UP being out of the picture, that means it's mostly red, meaning mostly good matchup in for Shanks in this column. Um, yeah, I mean, it having pretty much 50-50 into Rayleigh and slightly favor into Zoro, pretty much slightly into favor into everything else. I think Shanks is going to be a pretty legit player. Like you also get that new 4 cost 6K blocker Shanks from OP12 that discard a card as 2K. Make the deck more consistent, and PRB is going to get another Lucky Roo. So Shanks definitely getting more help. I think yeah, I mean, Shanks can obviously build aggro or build more high end control like 10 cost Shanks and Rayleigh and all that. But I definitely think Shanks is gonna be good just looking at this matchup spread going forward. Just like Anel. Like Anel was very poor into a UP, but it's pretty okay into everything else. Now that UP is gone, it's gonna be good. So same thing with Shanks. Okay, enough about Shanks. So yeah, I think us into Shanks. I actually find this matchup being slightly favored. Mostly because I have a good friend that plays a lot of Shanks, and from our games that we played, I win most of those games, and I know he's a very competent Shanks player because he wins a lot when we go to local or we play with other good players. I think he win like I know he at least won one treasure cup, like the store treasure cup. It's not like the online one. It's not as big, but still, like going 5-0 with the current Shanks is still very impressive when there's UP around. So I think Shanks, BY is like pretty decent into it. Well, that being said, all the games are close. I feel like I just always come out on top. Okay. Nami. Nami, I actually find this matchup being pretty easy. uh, Without the 7 cost Odin, the one that can restand by bouncing a character, I think Nami just doesn't have that late game power punch to build a board to like try to kill me as BUI. Like again, I have to watch out on the 4-cost pudding, but, you know, they can play a bunch of Kiku, who cares? Like, they're small. Well, not that big, I should say. They do have pretty insane survivability with the leader effect, like discarding a card to make their leader +2 till end of the turn. But yeah, I mean, I just find this matchup being pretty easy. Uh, this Luffy, I mean, I put it in S tier. It's kind of maybe a little questionable, but it's probably like A or B or something. But hey, I mean, anything with Gum Gum Giants, I will put it somewhere high up. But yeah, this Luffy, I feel like just whoever goes first has a pretty sizable advantage. Like this Luffy leader, if they go first, they have 8 ramp cards now, so pretty consistently ramping the big bodies. So I think this matchup, I don't hate it, but you know, if they go first, it's gonna be tough. And then Lucci. Well, I mean, Lucci, really thankful for this leader being in the game because it's keeping down some of my bad matchup, and I want to see them. So, just like before, the 5-cost Sabo that I run that draw 2, discard 2, whole board cannot be KO'd by effects, still really good. So, yeah, as long as I see that card against Lucci, it's pretty easy. Okay, my gosh, I'm taking my time running through it. In my note, I said I'm just gonna run through it real quick, just glancing through it. Okay, Smoker, pretty easy, I feel. Yeah, for a live leader, they do get like the new help of the ACOS Mihawk, so it will be harder, but yeah, I mean, let's just say I'd really rather see the Smoker than a bunch of these other leaders. Buggy, unfavored, but you know, thankfully Zoro's in the format, really keeping down Buggy, so pretty. Hopefully, it's not going to be as popular. Yamato, I think this matchup is pretty easy. Uh, yeah, I mean, nothing more to say. They're good at attacking, but I want to go to 0, so there you go. GY, mentioned earlier why it's going to be down here, but I think this matchup is slightly favored. Yeah, as long as I see Zeus to kill their bodies, I'm good to go. The Pluffy is pretty unfavored, I must say. Really unfavored. If they go first, they curve out, is bad. Yeah, this has been true since like last year. But yeah, this Luffy is probably not going to be so good going forward, so thankfully he's not in the format. Bello Betty, I think this matchup is. I think we're definitely favored, but depending on how good their draws are, they can still get us. But it's not going to be relevant in the meta, so who cares? UP, people are going to find out what the new build is going to look like, but without 9 Bomb, I don't foresee this is going to be hard. So I'm just going to say it's going to be easy. This Koala leader. Okay, so this Koala leader, on paper, it looks pretty good into us because I can't like revive my baby properly, because like how the leader works can basically trash my last life. Well, not trash, but like bottom deck my last life if I like revive with a baby. But there is a play pattern that I can do to like counter that leader effect. So going forward, if I run if once Sim is available for OP12, then I will because on Sim right now you can either only play PRB or OP11. I'm hoping they can release a version for OP12. Then I can showcase how you can beat this leader as BY. But yeah, overall I will say it's favored. I mean, unless they see like Dragon Robin or something. Okay, this Sanji thing is easy. Um, yeah, I mean, they just don't have any big bodies, I think. Like, yeah, that Sanji can be big, but it's not like Burgess. You actually need to work for the big bodies. Uh, yeah, I mean, they just play their events, but not attacking me, so great. This Rosinante, that law deck, I think this deck is interesting. I haven't lost to it on Sims yet, but I mean, it's quite a new leader that no one really talked about. It definitely has some potential, but again, for a live leader, I just don't really know how to judge it with the new meta coming in. I mean, it hasn't produced any results in Japan, so I'm just gonna assume it's not good. Okay, Sakazuki. Sakazuki, I mean, from before, it's definitely a bad matchup because it has the power to bottom deck your big brothers. So in response to this, I pretty much need to run more Big Brothers. It's kind of like how I dealt with the RP Law, the one that got wait, is it RP? Red purple, yeah, RP Law, the one that bottom deck, lose 3 Dawn bottom deck and cheat out a body, that RP Law, the broken one. So yeah, the in response to these kind of effects, I basically need to run more Big Brothers to have enough brother in my life and fight through it. But like I talked about before, in the beginning of the meta, it's probably not going to be that great, and also they lost a lot of their great cards, like the Ice Age, the Great Eruption, and Moria. So I honestly, I don't really think that this matchup will be that hard, but we'll see. A lot of people are telling me I'm screwed. I mean, if they run like 4 Grab Blade, then sure, I might be in trouble. But hey, I mean, if they don't have 4 Grab Blade, or you know, like I don't know, there's like a 7 cost Borsalino that also bottom decks, but yeah, like if they don't run a lot of those bottom deck cards, I should be in decent shape. Calgara, I think this matchup is close, but it's definitely BY favored. I mean, they lose their life, and in the end, I'm attacking for like 9 or 10 or something big. It's close, but I always feel like I get there. Kobe, I think this matchup is kind of unfavored, because they can attack my active blockers and all that. But if anything is slightly unfavored, yeah, I mean, Rocket Luffy cannot kill their blocker, which is annoying from his leader effects. But yeah, anything down here I'm not gonna talk too much about because it just hasn't proven itself as a viable leader yet. Okay, so in conclusion, where would I put BY Luffy, right? Like I can't say it's gonna oh my gosh, this website has so much ads, I have trouble like moving it. Okay, so where would I put it? I mean, I think it will be like top of B, if anything, or maybe you know what? We love BY. Let's put it like somewhere here. Yeah. Okay, this is not really ranked by like the viability of the leader, but I think if you play it right, play your cards right, and don't run into like only Bonnies, like we could be okay. Like right now, we lost our worst matchup, which is UP. And just kind of like my final thoughts on the meta game is, so Zoro really obviously going to be most popular and best. Like it's proven being a good deck in Japan. Also new leader, right? And people are going to have the buzz on the Sakazuki leader. So people are going to try to make Sakazuki work. So right now with those three being like popular, I will say aggro deck might be not that great because yeah, like Sakazuki can remove and Rayleigh just better aggro and Zoro just kills everything. So in that aspect is not great for us because we want to see BY want to see the aggro decks. But on the contrary, when what were some other decks that are good against aggro deck like Lucci or yeah, mostly like Lucci. So there was another deck that removes a lot. Did I forget to put on? Okay, it doesn't matter. But yeah, like Lucci for example, really good at removing bodies, and the decks that are like good at removing big bodies. I think yes, not as good as before, obviously without Ice Age, but Lucci is still favor into it now. Like Lucci still has the ability to string together like leader attack into the into the Hina, and then they also run the 10 cost Kuzan. So like just the fact that like Lucci and Sakazuki being in the format, it's certainly help us in a way because it should help us keep down decks like Enel and the yellow Enel and the yellow Kid, the going way over the top, that kind of deck. So yeah, if I mean that's why card game is interesting, right? Because we're all trying to one up each other with like what my deck is gonna be should counter this kind of deck, but then another deck that counters it. But if your deck that counters the new deck that counters something, then all of a sudden like it's kind of crazy. But yeah, it's obviously like the ban list just came out last night. Who knows what it's gonna be? But I think we're not in a bad spot. Like right now with OP12, we're getting that new blocker Sabo, the one that's supposed to be for Koala. Thank you, Koala, for giving us that Sabo. Help us draw more cards and D-Live, and it's randomly an 8 cost, so pretty hard to get rid of. Yeah, so with that card, and PRB2 is on the wing, so we're about to get that new ace. So when that new ace come out, I would almost firmly say we're in A tier. Like we might be just in the meta game. Like people no longer think we're rogue deck. But yeah, as for now, I don't think it's in a bad spot. Obviously, depending on how the meta game is gonna shape out, if it's all Bonnie, then we're in trouble. Who knows? If there's gonna be a lot of Bonnie, then maybe I put in like some 10 cost Kuzan to get them or something. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, if Bonnie and Nell just gonna be that popular, then I put in like 3 10 cost and 10 cost Kuzan, then then I'm gonna have some fun. Anyways, has been, let's see how long the video has been. Oh gosh, 40 minutes. Okay, it's been a long video. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, once the sim has OP12 available, like I might just play some games on the PRB2 version, but hopefully people don't run the PRB cards. But yeah, once that's available, then I will grind some games, and you'll see how BY is going to perform in the new refreshing format of the new ban list on top with the OP12 new edition. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.